I'm Officer Tommy Norman, and you're watching Willie D Live.
Welcome to Willie D Live. I am Willie D. We are live on location at the Sheraton in Houston, Texas for Trade Day. And Trey, if you don't know, is one of the most important individuals in the United States because of what he does in the community. He's always giving back. I mean, always is doing something with the youth. And he's that guy that you can call anytime you need to mobilize people. One of the people that he mobilized and got out here to Trade Day is a very, very, very important piece in community police relations. This man gets it. He has recently gained international and national notoriety for his special way of policing, and especially in the minority communities of color. He's got this way of connecting with inner city youth. He spends his own money oftentimes to buy them gifts, and he plays with the kids and stuff, and he just gets it. In fact, Killer Mike said that this guy was necessary, and he says that his role is to inspire. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish y'all was in here so everybody can damn stand up. Officer Tommy Norman.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here.
Man, welcome, man. Listen, man, when I saw you doing what you was doing out there with those kids, man, I was like, that's it. What is so hard about police officers being compassionate about the communities that they serve and being compassionate about the people in the communities?
You know, it's something that you really can't teach. You can't teach compassion and love at the police academy. It has to come from within. You have to have it. Like you said, you have to have it or you don't. And so to me, it's really simple because I lead with my heart. I don't lead with my badge. I don't lead with my police car. You know, when I step foot out of that police car, I lead with my heart. And that's when you start forming relationships. And I can talk about that later.
Right. How did you grow up?
I grew up in North Little Rock, the same city that I patrol. Family of 9. My mom raised all of us by herself. Didn't grow up with a lot. Did you grow up around inner city kids? Did you grow up around black kids? I did. Had a lot of black friends from as young as I can remember.
Did you go to school with black kids?
I did, yes.
Okay. So that kind of shaped your opinion a little bit because you could relate.
It helped. I definitely could relate at a young age.
Right. Now, this is what I wanted to get right to immediately is the militarization of our law enforcement in America. How do you feel about our law enforcement going into our communities with tanks?
Well, personally, I don't agree with it, you know, because with me, it's easier for me because I've always parked my police car and got out. The more time you spend out of your police car, the bigger impact you're going to have. But you know, our police department, doesn't necessarily have those type of equipment because of our budget, so to speak.
Right. But
some of the large ones, I know that they do, and so, you know, I've never been a part of a specialized team. I've always been a part of the community policing team. And so, you know, I think that you can take a different approach, but it all starts back with relationships. So the more relationships that you build, the less tanks you have to enter into that neighborhood.
Right. Now, you are a police officer in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I've been to Little Rock many, many times, and I tell you, boy, it was real bad back in the 90s.
Oh, it was.
It was real bad.
It was.
And you're saying it's not as bad.
Not as bad now. We still have our issues,
right.
You know. But you know, I know back in the 90s it was so bad that HBO even did a documentary, Banging in Little Rock.
Right.
There was a very powerful video of the Crips and the Bloods, and so. But things have improved somewhat, but we still have our share of crime in certain parts, of the city.
Explain to the audience, why is it necessary for cops to shoot to kill when oftentimes you have people in situations where it seems to be not a major threat, not a threat to somebody's life. I mean, why is it that it's necessary to shoot somebody 75 times?
Well, at the police academy, you're actually trained to shoot center mass. That's how we're trained. But now they have less lethal. They have like beam bags or even tasers. but I'll go back to that. The more you interact with the community, the relationships that you build, you're going to have to use less of those lethal actions. The way you talk to someone, I'm going to respect you the way I respect my mom and my dad. I'm going to talk to you the way that you want to be talked to, the way that I want you to talk to me. And it all goes back to those relationships. It all goes back to, if I go on a call where there's someone that is being irate and he's screaming and yelling and he sees this police officer pull up, get out of his police car, okay, that's Officer Norman. Or that's an officer that actually has known me since I was a kid. So you're automatically going to gain that respect, and that will diffuse the situation. But as far as, I can't speak for other departments as far as the shootings in other cities, but, I know we have less lethal options now, bean bags, we have, tasers and things like that take away from you having to take someone's life.
Right. When I was growing up, man, we were taught to respect police officers. And I guess I did have a lot of respect for police officers until I got to be around maybe 15 years old or so, and I started having interactions with police officers. And I remember, I'm from the hood, so I grew up around, a lot of bad situations. And the thing that I came to learn about community and police relations was that there really wasn't any. I just remember vividly anytime I had an interaction with the police, or even if I just saw the police in my neighborhood, it was always bad circumstances. It was all, and the cops always spoke in an authoritative manner. It was always aggressive. It was like a us against you type mentality. And I just don't understand that type of mentality when we're all supposed to be Americans. How do we have a us against you in our communities, and then we're supposed to be us against them overseas, the bad guys, ISIS? How do we, how do you justify that? My thing is this. I know that we need police officers, but we need good police officers. We don't need police just to have police. We need good police officers to work in our communities. And it's not just in having a diverse group of people working in the community. A lot of people is arguing that we need more black officers working in the community. That is true. But we more than black officers, we need good officers, because the bad officers, those racist white cops that we know that we do have out there, they'll just sit back and wait till you cross that line. When you get outside of your community, then they'll blow your head off. Yep. So I want to know what is help us understand, how do you qualify to become a police officer? What is the process? How do they vet you guys to say, okay, this guy is of stable mind and body and he's in good mental shape. We can give him a gun and turn him loose on our streets, and we expect him to make the right decisions.
Well, let me start with the first topic that you brought up, as far as you only see police officers when something bad happens in your community. It shouldn't be that way.
Right.
Police officers all over the United States should take a proactive stance to drive into those neighborhoods, walk those streets, sit on some front porches, before crime takes place. That way you're developing that trust and respect, and hopefully that brings the crime rate down, because you have people that see you every day. They shouldn't see you whenever someone breaks into their house. They should see you every day. Every single day they should see that familiar that face in that police car. As far as police officers being hired, there's a process you have to go through. You have to take a physical agility test, a mental exam, but sometimes you don't know I guess the officer's true demeanor until actually they're hired, and then if they do make mistakes like that, hopefully that they're weeded out and they're no longer part of the police department.
Right.
As I said, you can't teach a lot of what should be done as far as community policing at the police academy. You can teach an 8-hour class on how do you community police, right? You can teach me a class on how to talk on the radio, but am I going to get out there and do it the right way? And so a lot of times with me, I'll have to say that it's a gift, the way I connect with people from all races, from all ages. God bless me with the gift to really be able to connect with people I prefer patrolling areas of my city that are impoverished, low income. The front yards have dirt instead of grass. Houses are falling apart. Kids are sitting on the front porch with nothing to do. That's where I come in, and that's where, my positive policing methods come in, and really I feel like make a big impact.
Well, there are cops that feel the same way in terms of wanting to come into those impoverished communities and those communities that need it the most and need that guidance the most. But they're coming to bust heads. They want to come out and bust heads. They want to get their stripes. To them, it is a rite of passage to work in the inner city. And because, I'm going to just be straight up with you, some of these officers just got a chip on their shoulder, and they do have that us against them mentality. How do you explain? I don't know if you saw the video of the guy who got shot in Florida. He was laying on his back. He was a caseworker, a social worker, and he was trying to talk down a guy with autism. The guy with autism was playing with a truck, and he was sitting Indian style on the ground, playing with a truck, and the black guy was on his back with his hands up, explaining to the officers what his duties were, what his title was, and what he was trying to accomplish. They still shot the man. When they shot him, his hands were still like this. The guy, I don't know what more perfect that you can do to not get shot. The guy had his hands up like this. Not side, he didn't flinch, he didn't go to the side, to the left, to the right, he didn't raise up nothing. He, the whole time, hands up. And the cops still shot him. How do you give people hope to restore their faith, or even just have faith in our law officers, in our officers of the law in the first place? How do you give them that faith for the first time that we're going to have guys out there that are responsible when you put these tools in their hands, these deadly weapons in their hands, and send them out into the streets to patrol our neighborhoods? How do we know? Like, I know so many parents, so many family members. I know so many girlfriends, mothers, fathers who are totally paranoid about sending their children out into the streets. And there was a time when the most dangerous element in the streets was maybe a kid or somebody out there that was a predator or something. Now, for black people especially, they are more paranoid about their kids coming in contact with the police. And these are good kids, man. These are very good. Many of these kids are good kids. They're not gang banging. They're not stealing. They're not breaking into people's homes. They're not robbing banks. Many of these kids are in school. Many of these kids are scholar students. And they are progressive. They're doing everything the right way. And the parents are still paranoid as hell because of the climate out there with policemen just being trigger happy.
And there are families in the city that I patrol, friends of mine that I grew up with, and now their kids, and they are fearful of the police because of what they see taking place across the United States.
Yeah.
But you asked me, how do you provide, trust and faith and hope in those people that are fearful of the police? And, the majority of police officers across the United States, they're doing their job right. There are some that actually make mistakes, and they make the rest of us look bad. And so, I tell those people that are listening, give us time to restore, faith in what we do as police officers. People shouldn't be scared of officers. They shouldn't be going inside their houses or whenever they see a police officer coming, or when they see a police officer behind them. But you should feel safe. You should feel comfortable in your own community, in your own homes, to know that police officers aren't there to harm you. And so, my mission every day, especially when I hear of situations and incidents across the United States, my mission is to go out even more and really bridge that gap.
Right.
And of course, social media kind of changes the game as far as people all over the world are watching what we do in my police department because of our actual work with the inner city youth. And it provides them with a lot of hope and promise.
Right. So one of the other things that I want to talk about is the way policemen act, people in law enforcement act, even law enforcement supporters, people that, and I'm not saying that I'm not a supporter of law enforcement. I do think that we need law, but more important than law, we need order. You can't have law without order, and we don't have order. It seems to me we don't have order within the law. So one of the things that irks me is that oftentimes when people of color get gunned down by the police, doesn't matter what the circumstances is. I mean, it's always the same people taking the cop's side no matter what, just blindly go in straight for, doesn't matter what happened, how it happened, they automatically are gonna take the cop's side. The police automatically take their fellow cop's side. It seems like there's no objectiveness. There's no bipartisan. It's like every time the cop kills somebody of color, there is absolutely no remorse, no compassion for that person who got killed. People automatically just blame the victim, sort of like they do with rape victims. They just blame the victim, always trying to figure out what did the victim do. She must have, like they do with rape victims. She wouldn't have wore that dress. It wouldn't have happened. She was drinking. That's why it happened. Well, she was loose. She did that. Oh, remember, she stole a sneaker out the store 25 years ago. That's why she got killed. She should have been raped. So it's that blame the victim mentality. It's that just not caring, like if they have no compassion for our people when they get gunned down. Yet when the police get killed, they want us to feel their pain. They want us to have compassion, and they want us to rally and say we must protect the blue. I mean, my thing is that I love who love me. Now, I know some of you Christian people out there, you're going to get mad at me, but I love who love me, and I hate who hate me. And whoever want to fight me, I want to fight them. Whoever want to kill me or trying to kill me, I'm going to be trying to kill them. So that's my mentality. So what I'm trying to get to is that how is it that those in law enforcement and the people who support, like vigorously, blindly support law enforcement, because I support law enforcement too, but I don't blindly support law enforcement. So the people that blindly support law enforcement, the cop apologists, how is it that they could be in their right mind to expect us to be empathetic when cops get killed, but they're not empathetic when we get killed?
Well, that's
like, how is it that their life is more important than me? I don't care about your title. My life is just as important, is more important than your life. I don't care if you wear blue. My life is more important to me than your life is to me. My life is more important to my children than any cop's life is to my children. My life is more important to my brothers and my sisters and everybody that love me than any other cop out there that's getting gunned down that they don't know. You see, so I don't understand, like, if you want us to care, you want us to be empathetic, you want us to be pro-cop, and you want us to help you catch the bad guys, you got to give us something. You got to show us that you are compassionate and you empathize with our plight also.
And I agree with that. And, I don't have all the answers, but I will say this, that what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And if a police officer out there shot someone unjustifiably, then of course, I'm not going to side with the police. Even though I'm a police officer, I'm also a human being. Right. And so I'm not going to always side with the police. I'm there for the people. I'm there for the neighborhood. Now, if someone in the neighborhood makes a mistake, or if a police officer makes a mistake, I'm not going to side with an officer just because I'm an officer. Right. I'm Tommy Norman before I'm Officer Norman. If that police officer makes a mistake, I'm gonna report it. And I don't care how he feels or my peers feel. It's going to be reported to my superior. And so, that's when your morals and your ethics come into play. And like I'll say it again, the uniform doesn't come before my heart and the way I feel about people in general, especially the people that I'm sworn to protect and serve. Simple as that.
We're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back.